Alright, here we go with my look at the Thundercats Classic 8-inch Lino figure. And before we get started looking at Lino here, let's just talk a little bit about the packaging here. And I'm going to move him out of the way. Now, if you saw my review of the Classic Tigra figure, you'll notice the packaging is pretty much the same thing. So nothing really special or new there, but I just wanted to point out here on the side, I kind of like this. It actually says Thundercats Ho, and it shows the artwork there for Lino, so I thought that was kind of cool. And briefly on the back, pretty much the same thing like on the Tigra package, just shows, you know, the figures that you can get, and it shows Lino there and his accessories and some of his poses, etc., etc. So I just wanted to show that off real quick. Thought it was kind of cool that they did the little thing there on the side. So anyways, speaking of Tigra, let's go ahead and move Lino back here. And let's bring Tigra in just so we can kind of get a little size comparison here of these two together. So there's Tigra and Lino, so they're basically the same height roughly. So that's our little size comparison, and let's set him out of the way. So here we got Lino here, and I just picked this guy up today. Seems like he's been a little hard to find recently, but it looks like they're getting more of the classics Thundercats figures on the shelves now. I've seen more of this guy here recently, and also the Tigra figure just being available, generally speaking, so you shouldn't have too much of a problem picking either one of these guys up now. So, you know, keep your eyes peeled. Anyways, let's first talk about the accessories here. Kind of similar to what Tigra had. He has some extra hands, and here they are there. So he's basically got a left and a right hand. This one here is his left, obviously, and it looks like it's molded to hold his sword in there. And this one here is the opposite of the one that I currently got on right now, which is more of an open hand here. So this one here is obviously molded to hold the sword as well. So he has these two extra hands that you can swap out, which means that obviously his little gauntlet here, the claw shield or gauntlet or whatever they call it, is removable, and you could swap it out, which is his regular plain old hand there, much like the Tigra figure. And let me just kind of get him standing up straight here. And of course his other accessory, probably his main one, is his Sword of Omens. And let me just get him to stand up here so he doesn't tip over. So he's got the Sword of Omens here. Just pop this out. Set him back here. So there's the Sword of Omens. And again, it's sort of the same kind of soft, bendable, rubber-like plastic that the all these Thundercats characters seem to have here. You know, you can't have kids putting out their eyes, obviously, so they make everything soft and harmless nowadays, it seems. But I would prefer that this was a hard plastic, or at least a little bit stiffer of a plastic here. But it's not bad. It's all right. So that's the Sword of Omens. And speaking of Sword of Omens, he has the small dagger form of the Sword of Omens here. And much like the new designed Lino figure, the 6-inch one, this can also store in his little gauntlet here, or claw shield. And there's a little slot right in here for that. And it just slides right on in. Just got to kind of push it in there. And so he can have it stored there in its retracted mode. And one thing here I noticed about his gauntlet or claw shield is the number of fingers it has. And I don't remember on the original series if it had only 4 fingers or if it had 5. It seems like it had 5 if I remember correctly. So I'm not sure if that's just something they did here on this version of Lino, or if it is actually accurate to the original 80s cartoon. I'd have to probably look that up. I didn't bother to look it up beforehand, but anyways, so I just kind of noticed that there. So he's only got the 3 fingers here and then the thumb, obviously. But it looks pretty cool. I like it. It looks much like the original claw shield that he had on the old 80s cartoon. So that's kind of cool. And speaking of that, he does have another little accessory here. Not really an accessory, but it's just part of the figure here. And it's this little post here, and again, similar to the one that's on the 6-inch lino from the new cartoon series. It just stores there on the side of his hip, and what that's going to allow you to do is just peg the gauntlet in here so you can have it stored right here on his side of his leg there, just like on the original cartoon. So to do that, you just pop this guy off like so, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this off and just shove this in here. Just find a little hole, stick it in, and let's go ahead and shove this back in here. Now he's got no hand, but this can store on here. Oops, it's a little fidgety, and it's not wanting to get in there. Let's just get that in there. Let me take this sword out. I think it's in the way here. So there we go. Oops. See, the problem is this thing can rotate and it kind of wants to pop out on you. But there you go. So it can store, like I said, on his hip right there. The one thing I don't like about this is it kind of gets in the way of his arm here, and it does pop off rather easily. It's not really held in very firmly here, this little peg right here. So I probably prefer to display him with this attached to his arm if it was up to me. And let's go ahead and put his other hand back on here. And let's get this out of the way. So it just pops on here like so. This little joint's kind of a pain. Hold on a second. There we go. It's got a little hinge there and it makes it hard. Sometimes when you press on it, it keeps wanting to bend on you and not go in the little socket properly. But there he is with his, actual hand on there. So you can see it there. So you can put this here. Let's see if I can get that on there. There we go. There it goes. So you can kind of see how it's going to kind of get in the way of his arm there a little bit. And you can see it pops off rather easily just trying to move it. So again, I'd probably just take this off, switch out his hand here for the little gauntlet. I think it looks better. But let's move on here and talk about the articulation on this guy. And much like the Tiger packaging, the packaging for this guy says, I think, the same thing. Actually, might say a little bit more. The Tiger packaging said 18 points of articulation. And yep, I'm looking at the packaging here, and the Lino one says the same thing. But it seems like Lino actually has more. Basically what you got in the way of articulation on this guy is, we'll start with his head. You can rotate the head left and right, look up and down. The shoulders here, like so. Rotate around. You got some bicep swivel here. Mine's a little stiff. Bend at the elbows. Can rotate the wrists around, and they're jointed. The legs here go in and out like that, and around. Upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees. The feet can bend here and kind of pivot a little bit like that. And I think I forgot to show this off on the Tiger figure, but you can kind of rotate here, like at the calf area. And where this guy improves on the Tiger figure is in his waist and chest articulation. He actually can rotate at the waist around like so. And it goes up and down. And then you got the chest here, you can even go left and right like that. And can also kind of go up and down a little bit here. So they definitely improved that part. Why they couldn't have done the same thing with Tiger, I'm not exactly sure. The Tiger figure is basically just a solid molded piece, and all it can do is just go up and down at the waist here. Just show that off real quickly. Basically, you can just go like that, and this is all one solid piece. I don't know why they couldn't have done something like they did with Lino here. So I would say Lino probably actually has a little bit more articulation. At least that's the way it appears. I haven't actually sat down and counted out all the points. And briefly, he does have his little Thundercat belt there, which doesn't look like it's removable, but it is kind of loose here. You kind of move it around a little bit. So that's pretty much it as far as his accessories and articulation goes. So my final thoughts on this guy: I think it's a really cool figure. It's a nice version of Lino. I'm glad to see these guys on the shelves, you know, kind of bringing back some of the old 80s cartoons. I think this one looks really cool. It's pretty show accurate. The accessories are fairly decent. I like his little gauntlet here. And the articulation is pretty good on this guy too as well. The price on these guys, basically if you get them at Toys R Us right now, they're running you about like $21 after tax and everything. So they're about 19 bucks, I think it is. But if you get them at Walmart, I know Walmart's carrying them as well, you could probably get them for like about $17 or $18. So you can save a few dollars if you go to Walmart. They're pretty much all carrying the same stuff. I haven't seen any exclusives for Walmart or Toys R Us on the Thundercats figures yet. Doesn't mean that they won't be down the line. But I haven't noticed these guys at Target yet either. So it looks like the only two places that are carrying them are Toys R Us and Walmart. So I'd say, yeah, definitely pick either this one or Tiger Up, depending on which one's your favorite character. Or if you can, get both. I think they're both pretty much worth it, and they're nice figures to have. So anyways, I think I'll wrap it up here with my look at the Thundercats Classic 8-inch Lino figure.